All right, we're live. Hunter Hargis, how you doing, man?
Good, man.
Guys, Hunter is you go by. Forgive me if I'm saying this wrong. Arcarilla on Instagram.
Ar Archirilla, yeah.
Archirilla. Does that mean anything?
Yeah, so I born and bred in Arkansas and
Okay.
I growing up as a little kid I had a unhealthy obsession with gorillas. So I like to think of myself as a little baby gorilla basically. So that's where
All
that
right.
comes from. It's
Gorillas
kind
are
of
strong as
silly,
hell.
but that's where that name comes from. So,
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of lifters like to think of themselves as gorillas, silverback, and you know, beating the chest and
oh
stuff.
yeah.
That's awesome, though. Definitely a good animal to aspire to. Guys, Hunter is actually my GWO teammate. So we know each other a little bit just from like group chat DMs and stuff. But I don't know that much about you. So I'm interested in getting to know you a little bit more as we talk through this little quick interview here. How long have you been with Nico now?
Man, it's only been really a handful of months. I can't give the exact amount of time, but I know that prior to the comp that I just did, the Sioux Cup Showdown, so Alec and Seth Sioux Cup Show in Oklahoma, I I jumped on with Nico not too long before that. So I really haven't been with him more than I mean, time's been a bit of a blur this year for me, to be quite honest, with just life. So at least a few months, but not near a year yet. So
Right. Yeah. You say it's a blur. I know you have I think two kids. Did you have another child recently too?
no, so we actually had a miscarriage not too long ago, so that
Oh, I'm
was
sorry to
tough
hear that,
part
man.
of. Yeah, it was tough, but we're doing all right. She's actually pregnant with our third again, so she's already
Okay.
pregnant again. So hopefully this one goes well. But yeah. So I've got two little boys, a 4 year old and a 15-month old. So
Yep.
yeah, very they're at the age where they're fighting over toys and doing boy stuff. So
Yeah, yep, yeah, guys. In the group chat, it's tough with social media, guys. I've talked about this before. Like, we get social media blinders, right? I think personally, Joe Rogan said it. We follow too many people, and you can't invest in each other's journey. I've tried to take more investment in my team with Nico. Hunter will send stuff with the kids in there. Like I remember one in like your kitchen. I think you were preparing some food. There was a mess, if I remember right. So it's great to see you're a good family man, and we wish you all the best with the future baby here. Sorry to hear about the miscarriage, man. Didn't mean to bring that up,
it's
but I'm
all
getting.
good. Thank you.
So you're in the middle of training right now. He's in the gym, so we'll try and make this one quick. Although these tend to go 2 hours. My intent with these PSL getting to know you for the qualifier interviews is, easily digestible, 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever it might end up being. So hopefully we get you right back into training. So this will be your first. I mean, I guess even this prep, the Sukup Showdown was only like what, 4 or 6 weeks ago. It wasn't very long ago, right?
It was December 6th, so first Saturday of December.
Okay, so 20 days ago, you went up a class and you got second, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I not by choice necessarily. I had signed up and prepped for the 80s, but I mean, I could hit all the weights in the 90 class, but I was expecting to be an 80, and I weighed in barely over 80 kilos because when I found out a couple days before I was getting bumped to class, I was like, well, I don't need to do a cut or anything, but
Yeah.
I'm relatively close to my actual weight when I do weigh in, so I was like 82 when I weighed in, I believe.
Yep. Then it was probably takes. I talked to Nick Hine about it. Like when you go up a class, you challenge yourself. Like you said, it wasn't by choice, but I commend you for going up, and you kind of had to, right? Because there was no other 80s. So why not actually compete against somebody? But then you got second, dude. That's incredible, right? To go up a class
Yeah.
and get second, you know.
Yeah, and I wasn't too upset about the dude above me had a good substantial bit of weight on me, a little bit shorter, stockier guy, and some of the events were a little bit better for being a bit shorter in my opinion. But he was super cool. Him and I actually kind of sparked a friendship, and we were having friendly chats just in between events and encouraging each other. So it was a super fun comp. I mean, they put on an awesome show.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Challenging yourself, camaraderie, when you can have some fun, take the pressure off a little bit. And I'm sure, yeah, Alec and Seth are two of the best in the world. Alec making his case for one of the best 105s of all time. Hopefully, Alec coming back from that pec injury. Hopefully, I'll get Alec on here when we talk about some of these other shows coming up too. But Seth is no slouch either. He's one of the best heavyweights out there, up and coming. So I'm sure they ran a great show, right?
Oh yes.
Are they local to you? Was that gym not far from you, or did you have to
No, so
travel?
I mean that was Oklahoma City, and it's think it was about 4 hour drive from where I'm at. Cause I'm in Northwest Arkansas. It's like
Okay.
where Walmart started, basically Bentonville, Roger. That's kind of very top left corner of Arkansas is where I've stomped around my whole life.
Yep, nice. And
So
yeah, 4 hour drive. It's funny because I talk to people from across the country. Up here in New England, man, I can travel 6 states in less than like an hour, and you
yeah.
guys, you got to travel far to get to these shows. That's great. How about so you've been with Nico, so you haven't had a full off season with Nico yet. So dude, you haven't even really gotten to realize the potential of the gains. You've got PSL right now we're going to talk about, and you're training for the Arnold as well, right?
Yep, that is the plan.
So we'll talk about those two in a minute. But yeah, after that, you got any designs on anything? Or are you going to give Nico a nice 12, 14, 16 week off season, build some off season gains?
To be quite honest, I'm a lot is kind of hanging on how this PSL qualifier goes. Just kind of how I want to approach 2026. I know I want to be super active and competing just because I've from my experience so far, I bounce back pretty quick after a comp where I feel ready to get back into training. Uh, and so as far as like what's going to happen after January 31st when that qualifier is, I mean, well, hopefully I have a very clear path of knowing what I'm doing. And really, it'll probably be the PSL qualifier, the Arnold, and then whenever the other PSL comp is that I'll be qualifying for.
Yep.
So outside of that, I mean, there's not any competitions I'm like super keen on. If anything, I wouldn't mind going back to Rainier because that's what qualified me for the Arnold last year, or I guess
Yep.
this year. For this coming up Arnold, I did the Rainier, and I think it was sometime this summer. I think it was July, June. Again, this year's a blur, but I did Rainier. That's what qualified me for the Arnold. So,
Yeah, and that's all the way out in Washington State, right? So you
yep,
traveled for that one, had to fly.
flew out there by myself. That was not one that I was going to be able to get the wife and boys to. It was just it was already crazy enough getting there. I almost didn't even make weigh-ins because that's a whole nother story. But I ended up making it happen. So
Yeah, and that qualified for the Arnold. Yeah, that's a big show. I know I've heard great things about that show. My buddy Mike did it. He went pro there. I got to get out there someday, maybe jump in there too. So yeah, and dude, if things go well enough at the Arnold too, you'll qualify for the Arnold next year, hopefully. So then it's nice when you can do well enough to have those automatic qualifications. You can fill out your calendar without having to qualify, and then you can kind of do the off season and then peak thing. But right now, you're just like me, man. We're up and coming and trying to chase all these biggest shows, which is awesome and commendable. Let's talk about PSL. So you're 5 weeks out roughly, right? Let's see what we got for
yeah,
events at
the
that one.
very end of January. I always mix up my memory. I know there's a axle bar deadlift off of I think it's on like Hummer tires or something like that for reps. I think they said it's going to be between a 9 and 11 inch pole. Then there's a frame carry for max distance. There is a sandbag load over bar met like three different sandbags, different distances. There is what am I missing?
That's right. They
Log.
changed it. It was a keg, and they changed it to sandbag,
Yeah,
right?
they changed it to sandbags, and then there's the log where you do 4 reps, clean and press away, and then you have to run through like a laser timer or something like that. So
Yeah. Yep.
to clock the time. So, and I don't know if I'm missing anything.
Yoke walk.
Yep, and then yoke, and that's honestly probably that's kind of my bread and butter right there.
Are the weights? So you're looking at a 225 log, 525 axle dead, 550 yoke, 240. I think it's farmers, unless they changed it. 240 per hand farmers,
Oh
and
yes,
then
farmers. That's the one I spaced on. Farmers
yep,
is and not frame. They changed it. I think it was originally frame as well, or maybe I'm mixing that up. But farmers.
and then the kegs were 220, 240, 260, but those might get changed to bags. But are those weights all manageable for you? Anything you're looking at that could be not a zero, but something that could be really challenging, or are they all manageable? You're looking
Um,
to kill it.
I mean, as far as like on the axle, I just don't have a ton of experience deadlifting with an axle, but weight wise, I can hit all the matrix pretty comfortably. Um, I think it's just we're gonna see how the strategy goes as the comp goes, kind of thing. As far as how far I'm gonna push reps, for instance, but I can hit all the weights right now. I could hit the weights today if I needed to. So
Oh, good, good, good. We look forward to seeing you there, man. And I think let's see, I think you got a few guys. Let me look up the
Right now, there's just three in my class, so there's
Three guys, yep.
enough for a podium right now. But hopefully, I think registration closes tomorrow. It originally was supposed to close on the 20th. They pushed it out a week, which I'm glad because hopefully
Yeah.
more guys hop in. I welcome more competition.
It's
It would be great.
yeah, it's great. It's great you say that, dude, because like, don't get me wrong, it'd be awesome to go out there and get an automatic qualification, right? You got to make weight, complete a couple events, and then you go into the big show. But I commend you for saying that because you want to earn it, right? You want to go against people, you want to test yourself. You don't want a participation trophy, right? You don't want a free ticket to the final. You want to earn it. You know what I mean? Right now, there's three. There's three in the 90 kg, including Brett Summers, who I'm going to interview next, right after you today. The 105 class has got almost 10 guys, and it's getting pretty stacked. It's just the way it goes sometimes, dude. I've done PSL Baltimore 2 years in a row, and both years I think we had 15 guys in the 105. One in both years there was like five in the 90, which you have to earn it. I had to earn it, you know. But you never want a participation trophy, right? So hopefully we get some more signups. It's one of the things I'm doing. You see the banners here, dude. I don't know if I told you yet or if you saw the podcast I did with Tyler. I'm trying to, it's a way to come up with content, right? But like I want to interview people doing the show, right? I've interviewed some champions. I've interviewed a few people who have been to the big show and are going back. And you're the first guy I'm interviewing now who's never been. You're trying to make your way there. So if you can, why don't you talk about why you selected this show? Why are you trying to go to the 80 kg show? What do you know about it, and why does it interest you from what you've heard?
I mean, honestly, I think it kind of goes back to how I got into strongman because I've only been doing strongman for, I mean, really, this has been my first full year. I did a novice comp at the end of 24, and it just the weights were way too light, but it was fun. That's what they're for. They're to introduce you to the sport. And I was like, well, I've got to find comps that are actually going to push me. And next thing you know, I think I did four, maybe five open comps this year so far. I guess to finish out this year because Sioux Cup Showdown was my last one, and I just when I found out there were weight classes because that's something I didn't even know about. Like I thought it was just the big dudes like Brian Shaw and Thor and Mitch Hooper and these guys that are all 300 plus, 400 plus pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found out, oh, I'm in that 80 kilo class range rather comfortably, and as I've competed, it's just stuck. And then PSL is something that as I kind of got more into the strongman world and kind of stuck to some athletes I really liked, I would watch the PSL shows. I think it's on YouTube or however they streamed it. I've watched a couple of the different PSL comps. I was like, man, like I love how they have this set up. It seems like the athletes have nothing but good things to say about PSL. And from what I've gathered from talking, I've talked a little bit with Brandon Burley, and he's had nothing but good things to kind of hype it up. And he's actually going to be at the Midwest qualifier, I believe. So I'll get to meet him there. So that'll be neat. But yeah, it's just really that's just where my body weight. I've never been a super big dude. I grew up playing rugby and football, and I was always a skill position kind of player. I played wing in rugby because I have speed,
Yep.
and so as I found that class exists, that's what I've committed to. Do I want to always stay in 80? If I'm honest with myself, I would definitely like to get bigger and substantially bigger. But as of right now, the plan is 80. I think this year I'll commit to 80, but I think I would like to really push it and get to be a bit bigger boy. And I guess I'm technically kind of tall for 80 class because I'm 5'10", 5'11". I don't
Oh
really
yeah,
know, but
yeah.
I'm a bit taller. Most of the guys I've competed against so far have been
That's kind
shorter
of
than
tall
me.
for a 90, dude. Like on the
Yeah,
taller side for the 90s, because I'm 6 feet, roughly 5'11" and three quarter, whatever you want to call it. And I'm a tall 90. So yeah, you're a tall kid. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 27. I turned to 27 April 1st. I'm a
All
full
right.
state.
So
So,
still a young buck. What do you walk around at weight wise?
man, I kind of mentioned earlier, I kind of stick around where I struggle with weight cuts. My body doesn't like, even if it's just like a simple water cut, I do struggle with it a bit. And so for me, I'm usually right around that. So like 80 kilo class in pounds, I think it's like 176.5 or 175.6.
Yep.
It's somewhere right there. I'm usually around like 180, maybe a little slightly heavier than 180, and then I'll cut that 5 pounds, 6 pounds, depending on what it is. But
Dude,
I,
what's
I'm usually
great.
not much bigger than what the 80 kilo class is. So
What's great, dude, is so you're already qualified for the Arnold. You're going to do this PSL qualifier. I have no doubt you'll get qualified there, right? You're going to podium that, and so you're going to do two of the biggest weight class shows there are, right? Obviously, you got OSG. Everybody agrees OSG is the biggest, right? It's got the title, and then just PSL just came out with their rankings, and it's widely agreed it's OSG, it's PSL, it's the Arnold, and probably World Ultimates, right? You got to give it to them if you're going by shows that have international, right, where it's open
yep.
to everybody, right? Even if you have to qualify, everybody can qualify. International athletes can't qualify for America's Strongest Man. America's Strongest Man, very highly competitive show, great show, but it excludes international guys. So I don't talent wise, you can put it right up there. But if you want to have equality for all the people across the world, it's those four, and you're doing two of the biggest, right? So that's great, dude. Early on in your strongman career, you're doing the two big shows. You already did a 90 kg show, so you at your body weight, dude, you have the ability to pack on some nice lean tissue under Nico's guidance here, right? And you can continue to do 80 kg like world class shows as you qualify and choose when to do those cuts, especially if you're not doing water cuts yet. People can help you with that. But then you can also challenge yourself locally, maybe regionally at 90 kg until you're truly ready to make that jump and say, all right, I'm going to really eat and grow and become a big, strong 90 kg. Because, dude, the nice thing is, dude, for a couple years, if you stay in shape, you'll just be able to walk into the 90 kg shows and you'll cut out that weight cut variable. You'll be the guy like me when I do 105. You just walk in and you're drinking water and eating snacks in the weigh-in line while other guys are suffering. And it's kind of nice
Yeah.
to do that, dude, if you can make it to the big shows. But then you'll have to decide, you're going to do these shows, right? And it's your first two big shows, right? The Rainier is huge, and the Soak Up Showdown, I'm sure, was no doubt a great show. But these two shows are a big step up for you. And you're going to
Man.
find, I think you're going to get hooked on that level of competition. And you'll decide, man, do I want to go 90 yet, or stay 80 for the big stuff and 90 for the fun local stuff, push myself, hit heavier weights? What you'll find really quickly, dude, is 80 kg local shows won't be a challenge. They won't excite you. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
weights won't be very heavy. Maybe you'll look at the roster, and unless another like world class 80 shows up, you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go 90. You know what I mean? So you're in a great
Yeah.
spot. You're in a great spot.
Well, and, I mean, ultimately, like if I see where ideally I would like to be to the point where I'm only considering invites that are coming in and not having to sign up for stuff that I'm like, well, I'm gonna go do this one, or I want to make it simpler to where I don't have to hop on Iron Podium as I've done in the past and be like, I'm gonna sign up. I'd much rather be able to do these qualifiers and these ones that will hopefully get me invited to the bigger shows, because ultimately I want to get to the top level. The competitive side of me, I've always wanted to be at the top level, whether it was when I was playing football, when I was playing college rugby. It's like I wanted to be pushing myself consistently to just be that higher level athlete. And I don't think I'm even, well, not just, I know I'm not near my ceiling yet. Like I know I've got a ton of potential there. So, and that's going to come off cocky, I guess, but I do know that with how my body feels, I know I've got a lot of strength to continue to make.
Of course, dude. It doesn't come off cocky at all, man. You're literally in like year one, right? Like I did USS Nationals year one just because it was in New Hampshire and I qualified. It was literally an hour drive. So I'm like, why not jump in? Right? You're year one, you're going, dude, the Arnold it's no joke, dude. That's the biggest show in the world. OSG, Arnold, PSL, right there. That's the three. That's the big three, dude. It's widely agreed, right? They draw the best talent. And you're, like I said, you're going to qualify for PSL and you're doing two of the biggest. And then, you know what, dude, as the year rounds out, right? Depending on when PSL is, right? Maybe you try and shoot for an OSG qualification. Maybe you do a regional, or maybe you do the online, and maybe we'll have a big GWO reunion at OSG, and boom, you did the three biggest shows in the world in 1 year, in your second year, right?
Yeah, I think OSG is definitely on my radar. Again, I think a lot of this year is going to be determined on how end of January goes and how March goes.
Yeah.
That's just kind of that. I try not to look too far into the future because it stresses me out, but also it's like I got to, focus on the now and get ready for what's coming up. So,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to get that out of the way early in the year, and then figure out the calendar. So yeah, you're on your way. How does you said you played rugby and stuff, some sports growing up? how do you feel that's helped you as an athlete going into strongman? Because like that's a lot of people get into strongman because they're statically strong from like powerlifting, and then some do from sports like DJ Doggett. I'm sure you know who he is. He's come up the ranks, and I guess he had a cup of coffee with the Denver Broncos, and his athletic background, I think he did decathlons and stuff, helped him because dude, he's one of the most gifted movers in the sport. So how's it helped you?
Well, on him real quick, he was one of my favorites to watch in OSG. I mean, he just took the 105 class, didn't he? Or was it second?
He
He
got
got second.
second. He came all the
Yeah,
way back to second after he zeroed the log.
yeah. So, I actually didn't know much about him, but he definitely, I followed him right away because I was blown away with like how he, watching him pull onto the podium like that. I knew it was somewhere at the top. I just couldn't remember where. As far as like with the sports stuff, I mean, I so far have done really well with moving events or any sort of like more cardio crazy style events, but it's definitely translated with the moving events the most. um I feel like I've got decent static strength. It still of course needs work, but I do feel like I've got a good solid foundation as far as like there's not a weight right now that I don't think I can hit and be competitive in a class and even win some of the static events. It really is just a matter of what event it is and when it is in the comp and how my body's feeling, which is just how it is for everyone else. But I do feel that it's translated most with the moving events, stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
for sure. And it's weird, man. Like I'm more of a athletic guy than static guy myself. So it's weird. We fall into the category like ourself. If we put ourselves into a cat, like I like moving events. I don't know. I love overhead press. I love deadlift, but I like moving events because it's just something I'm better at naturally. Guys who are more statically gifted, maybe like static events. And I put polls on my Instagram before. Probably something I'm going to talk with Nico about when I have him on. Like, is it better or easier? Is it easier to teach an athlete static events, right, and get them statically strong, or teach a static guy moving events, right? Because like we all see some really statically gifted guys, they can't really have good sprint backs, or they don't have good coordination for a split jerk, you know. So it's one of those things. I personally think it's better to come from an athletic background, and I think over the years you can put on some good static strength. You might not win an overhead like at the highest level, but if you can do damage control and come third to fifth, and you can win a couple moving events, like DJ, case in point, he zeroed the log, dude. And he won two moving events handily, and it carried him to day three, and he battled back all the way to second. You know, um, yeah, I think having that athletic background will definitely benefit you, dude.
yeah,
Um,
and actually something that I just thought of, and honestly, like maybe I would, instead of saying that translates over to the moving events, and it does. One thing I think that actually I learned really well from playing football and rugby, especially in the tougher games where either you're getting beat or it's a dog fight. Um, I'm definitely not one to hang up the cleats if I have a bad event, like for me, or hang up the weight belt or whatever.
yeah,
If I say I zeroed an event or something didn't go my way or I messed up on a transition, I drop a sandbag. For me, I do very well. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's click back in, and we're going to win this next event. In fact, at Rainier, I almost clean swept the whole competition. I had not my best showing on Viking press. I hit my goal, but the dude who beat me on Viking press, it was a freestyle Viking press, and I don't do the split jerking stuff. I was basically push pressing the whole time, and he just got me, man. He got me on a couple more reps, and I was pretty pissed, but I was like, all right, reset. Let's go destroy Yoke. And I set a huge PR on Yoke, and no one was close to me on time. So it
yeah.
was I'm not out of the fight. I could be in last place and I'm still fighting till the end.
Dude, hell
So
yeah. That's a great mindset and mantra to have. Like how you face adversity and come back from it, especially in the moment. I've talked about that with Nick Hine. Whether an event goes good or bad, getting over it, getting ready for the next event. Dude, the show ain't over till it's over, dude. I've seen and I've been a part of many shows, even myself, where like you're kind of out of it, it seems, and then that last event, dude, somebody could have a 4 point lead on you. If there's five or six guys and they bomb the stones if it's the last event, the show ain't over till it's over, dude. So how you can mentally prepare for that and stay strong till the end. That's a huge thing for Nico too, is not giving up. Obviously, if you're hurt and it doesn't make sense, you're injured, maybe you have to bow out or whatever. But like if you're not hurt, you finish the show and you do what you set out to do. So I'm sure Nico will be happy to hear that if he listens to this. Dude, I don't want to keep you too long. Speaking of Nico, he had a question for you. I didn't put out a question box, but I asked Nico, hey, Nico, you want to ask Hunter anything as his coach? He said you're a big family man, and we've all seen that in the group chat and stuff. How do you balance your training and your competitive aspirations with the family life? I think on your Instagram it says family over everything or something like that. So you want
Yeah.
to talk to that real quick?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, like if I didn't mention my wife, uh, it's you got to get a good one is what I would say to that. If you don't have a good partner, whether it's a gal's husband or wife, whatever it is, I definitely I don't necessarily believe in luck. If I'm honest, I feel blessed. I'm married right, and sometimes I question what she sees in me, but she sees something, and I don't take it for granted. I think. As far as balancing it out goes, well, I work a manual labor job, so that doesn't help when it comes to trying to come into the gym fresh, and it is one of those things, but it's what I do. Early mornings are what will be my gym thing because I also believe that, I mean, my ultimate priority is my kids and my wife.
As it should be, yeah.
And and so early morning is, as tired or as exhausted as it might be, and that may be where I lack a little bit as far as prep goes. I may not get the best sleep, but I'm just trying to make sure that I still put in the work. And even if I have my tougher days, I'm in the gym, but I'm also not taking away from that family time and being present because ultimately my kids will only be my young kids for so long, and my wife and I only have however many days we are going to be blessed with on this earth. So um, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm perfect at balancing it all, but I certainly try. And between work and the gym and everything, I think as long as you have the roadmap, which is what I entrust Nico with, that definitely helps me with then, okay, communicating with my wife. I need to hit this programming this day, this day, this day. How can I best help you as your husband, and how can I be there for you? And we that's just, yeah, it all comes down, I guess, to wrap up that thought is communication. If you don't communicate, you're not going to get anywhere with balancing anything. So.
Yeah. Yeah, behind and any strongman who's married, behind any good married strongman is a good wife because this sport is selfish, right? The training takes a long time and stuff. What do you do for a living if you don't want me to ask? What's your career?
Well, man, I'm working for a landscaping company right now doing like hardscape, like Airbnb builds. Like we do some pretty high quality stuff, but
Nice.
I actually had moved. So we were briefly in Missouri. My wife is from Missouri, and we were dealing with some family stuff there. And so I was kind of back and forth between there and here. And a job opportunity came about that has to do with framing of houses, doing metal frames, and that's what I was that's what I'm still waiting on. So I hopped back on working with a former boss of mine, and he's been super awesome. But not necessarily by choice, but I'm doing more like landscaping stuff. But ultimately, I will be doing like custom home builds and stuff like that. Is what I'll be back into. Hopefully, starting off this new year.
That's
So.
awesome, dude. Yeah, there's no shortage of work right now. A lot of people, the boomers are retiring. A lot of younger guys go to college and stuff. What happens to people get out of college and like the degree they chose, the job markets just aren't that hot. And a lot of people in their late 20s, early 30s go into the trades. I'm an electrician. Most of our apprentices are 30 something years old starting over. But it is hard work. Yeah, the reason I asked is like hardscapes and landscaping, dude. Yeah, you use the backhoe, you use the bobcat, all that stuff. But dude, when you're scraping the soil away for the patio, moving the stones and stuff, it's hard work. So it's backbreaking work. So I commend you for going into the gym and then doing that work all day. The only time you probably feel fresh is like maybe like a day or two before the show when you finally get that nice taper. You probably feel like $1,000,000 on show day though. So
Yeah, I've honestly always performed better at shows than I did in the gym, which I think is a good thing.
absolutely.
I've I've definitely like each show that I've done, I've noticed improvements from the previous ones, and so it's nice to see that the work is paying off. It's just there are definitely days in the gym, man, where I just have to choose mental toughness over how my body feels. My body will feel like absolute trash.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I have found that as long as the discipline's there and I'm doing the work, I'll show up on comp day. I'm bringing my best every comp I go to, and whether my best is last place or whether my best is first place, that'll be found out day of. So.
right? All you can control is what you bring, and you know that you put in the work. And with a coach like Nico, we all know you're putting in the work, you know. Or it's weird to say this, like there's been people on the team in the past, even when Nico didn't do it full time, that he would part ways with them because they weren't putting in the effort. Like he wants the effort, not in a bad way, but it's like he doesn't want to waste their time. He could easily. This is a thing I'm going to say about Nico, where I commend him. He could easily collect paychecks from his athletes, right? He could just slap out a program and get his monthly fee, but he wants athletes that are committed. Now, obviously, there's been times, maybe I'm saying too much, Nico, apologize, where like if life or family gets in the way, he's, understanding and like, but he'll never let anybody slack. If he knows he can get more out of somebody or they should be putting in more, he'll get that. Or he'll say, hey, listen, like maybe it's not time for me to be your coach. But no, you're a great addition to the team, man. I look forward to seeing how far you take this. I look forward to watching you PSL. I'll be watching the live stream. Sadly, I can't make it out there. I'm committed to going to the Baltimore show and be on the mic. But have fun at the qualifier, dude. Yeah, Burley will be there. He's our teammate. Great guy. Don't be afraid to say hi to Brandon Burley. I think there's Sky is competing there. Another great guy. Say hi to Sky. And dude, what you'll find, you're doing these two big shows. You did the Rainier. There's probably a bunch of big names like Lucas Hatton out there. Dude, at the Arnold, obviously you got to focus on your training. This is a word of advice. You're going to be focusing on your show, right? But if you can, focus on your lifts and execution, right? Obviously, that's first and foremost priority number one. But make connections, dude. Talk to some strongmen you're a fan of. Dude, if you see a guy like DJ Doggett walking around, go say hi. That's what I did at OSG. And now we're Instagram friends, and I'm going to have him on here too. The networking aspect, like every year I've been to OSG twice. It's like a reunion, dude. It's really awesome to see the people who are doing the same sport as us. And like you're at the highest level, like I said twice now. When you make it to the big PSL show, you're going to find I'd like to have you back on later in the year to talk about how you liked the Arnold and your recap. And when you get to PSL, we'll talk after PSL because you're doing two of the biggest shows. And we'll talk about athlete experience and what you liked about both shows and everything if you want to come back on.
Oh yeah.
But anything else you want to touch on? I'll let you get back to your training, dude. I know you're right in the middle of it. Saturday, so is it Friday? It's Friday, so it's not event day yet, probably. But here I am thinking it's Saturday. Anything else you want to touch on before we got part ways?
Well, I hope everyone sees me at the top eventually because that is where I'm going.
Of course, man. Let's go. Mark his words right here. You heard it here first. Hunter Hargis. Follow him on Instagram. Archie-Rilla. Arkansas
Yes.
Gorilla. Hey,
Yep.
thanks for coming on, man.
Yep.